You've been taught your entire life to control your emotions. When anger rises, push it down. When sadness appears, distract yourself. When fear surfaces, think positive thoughts and pretend it isn't there. Society has conditioned you to believe that emotional mastery means emotional suppression. That strength is the absence of feeling. That success requires you to rise above your emotions, transcend them, leave them behind. But here's what nobody tells you. Every time you resist an emotion, you're not making it disappear. You're locking it into your nervous system. You're storing it in your body. And most importantly, you're broadcasting it louder into the quantum field around you. Think about the last time you tried to suppress anger. Maybe someone said something that triggered you, and instead of expressing it, you smiled, stayed polite, and swallowed the feeling. What happened next? Hours later, maybe even days later, you found yourself snapping at someone else over something completely unrelated, or you couldn't sleep, or you felt a tightness in your chest that wouldn't go away. The emotion didn't vanish because you ignored it. It went underground. And from that hidden place, it continued to shape your reality in ways you couldn't see. Here's the quantum truth most people miss. Your emotions aren't obstacles to manifestation. They're not blocks to your desired reality. They are the language your body uses to communicate with the field. And when you fight them, suppress them, or pretend they don't exist, you create a frequency of resistance that the universe has no choice but to mirror back to you. This is the video that will show you why the moment you stop fighting your emotions and start feeling them fully, your reality shifts instantly. Not because feeling good attracts good things, but because emotional completion is the fastest way to collapse old timelines and step into new ones. Emotion as energy in motion. Let's start with what emotion actually is. The word itself gives us a clue. Emotion, energy in motion. From a quantum perspective, emotions are not abstract concepts happening somewhere in your mind. They are measurable electromagnetic frequencies generated by your heart and transmitted through your entire nervous system. The HeartMath Institute has proven that your heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than your brain, and that field changes based on what you're feeling. When you feel gratitude, love, or peace, your heart produces a coherent waveform, smooth, organized, harmonious. When you feel fear, anger, or frustration, your heart produces a chaotic waveform, irregular, scattered, dissonant. Here's where it gets important. That electromagnetic field doesn't stay inside your body. It radiates outward into the space around you, influencing everything within a radius of several feet. Other studies suggest this field may extend even further, which means your emotional state is not private. It's a broadcast, a signal sent into the quantum field that the field responds to by organizing reality to match that frequency. Now here's the part most people get wrong. They think the goal is to only broadcast positive emotions, to feel good all the time, to force themselves into high vibrations no matter what's actually happening inside them. But that's not how the quantum field works. The field doesn't respond to what you pretend to feel. It responds to what you actually feel. And when there's a mismatch between your surface emotions and your suppressed emotions, you create something called emotional incoherence. And incoherence is the fastest way to delay your manifestations. The resistance trap. Think of it like this. Imagine you're trying to tune a radio to a specific station. The station you want is broadcasting clearly, but you're also holding down 3 other buttons at the same time, each trying to tune to different frequencies. What do you hear? Static, noise, fragments of different signals, all competing for dominance. That's what happens when you resist your emotions. You're trying to broadcast a desired frequency while simultaneously suppressing conflicting frequencies. And the result is a scrambled signal that the quantum field can't respond to with clarity. Neuroscience backs this up. When you suppress an emotion, your brain doesn't delete it. Instead, it activates something called the default mode network, a part of your brain responsible for rumination and background anxiety. That network keeps running the suppressed emotion on repeat, below your conscious awareness, consuming energy and attention even when you think you've moved on. Meanwhile, your nervous system remains in a state of low-grade activation, not quite stressed, not quite calm, just stuck. And here's the quantum consequence. As long as that emotion remains unprocessed, your nervous system continues broadcasting the frequency of that emotion into the field. You might consciously affirm abundance, but if there's suppressed fear of scarcity running in the background, the field responds to both signals. And because the suppressed signal is tied to unresolved energy, it often carries more electromagnetic charge than your surface intentions. This is why people can do all the visualization, all the affirmations, all the scripting, and still not see results. It's not that manifestation doesn't work. It's that they're broadcasting two frequencies at once, and the quantum field, being a perfect mirror, reflects back the confusion. The completion cycle. Now let's talk about what changes when you stop resisting and start feeling. When you allow an emotion to move through you completely, without judgment, without trying to fix it or change it, something profound happens. The emotion completes its cycle. Here's how it works. Every emotion has a natural lifespan. Research shows that the neurochemical component of an emotion, the actual chemical cascade in your body, lasts about 90 seconds. That's it. 90 seconds from the moment it arises to the moment it would naturally dissolve. But most people never experience that completion because they interrupt the cycle. They distract themselves. They rationalize. They numb. And by doing so, they freeze the emotion in time, keeping it active indefinitely. But when you feel an emotion fully, when you sit with the sensation in your body, breathe into it, and allow it to exist without resistance, the emotion does what it was designed to do. It moves, it peaks, and it dissolves. Not because you forced it to go away, but because you gave it permission to complete. And in that moment of completion, something shifts in the quantum field. The frequency you were broadcasting, fear, anger, sadness, whatever it was, collapses. Your electromagnetic field reorganizes. And suddenly, you're no longer sending a conflicted signal. You're coherent, clear, available for a new frequency to emerge. From emotion to data. There's a reframe that changes everything. Stop seeing emotions as problems to solve. Start seeing them as data to decode. Every emotion is information. It's your body's way of telling you something about your relationship with reality in this moment. Fear isn't the enemy. It's your nervous system signaling that something feels uncertain or unsafe. Anger isn't a character flaw. It's your system's way of saying a boundary has been crossed or a value has been violated. Sadness isn't weakness. It's the emotional release mechanism for letting go of something that no longer serves you. When you feel these emotions fully, you're not wallowing in negativity. You're processing information. And once the information has been received, the emotion no longer needs to persist. Think of it like an email notification. The emotion is the ping. The feeling is the message. Once you read the message, the notification disappears. But here's what most people do. They see the notification and immediately try to delete it without reading it. They want the feeling to go away without actually feeling it. And so the notification keeps reappearing. The same emotion keeps coming back in different situations because the original message was never received. When you feel fully, you read the message, you extract the information, and then the emotion is free to dissolve because its job is done. That's when the shift happens. Not because you've transcended emotions, but because you've completed them. The nervous system reset. Here's where we talk about why the shift happens instantly. When you fully feel an emotion, you're not just processing a thought, you're allowing your nervous system to discharge stored energy. Your nervous system operates on a principle called completion. When a stress response is activated, fight, flight, freeze, your body prepares for physical action. Muscles tense, heart rate increases, breathing quickens. In nature, This energy would be discharged through movement. A deer being chased by a predator runs, escapes, then shakes its entire body to release the stored adrenaline. The cycle completes. The nervous system returns to baseline. But humans don't do this. We activate stress responses all day long. An email from our boss, a difficult conversation, financial worry, and we never discharge the energy. We sit still. We stay polite. We suppress the impulse to move, scream, or release. And so the activation stays locked in our system. Over time, this creates what's called a high baseline of nervous system arousal. You're never fully relaxed because there's always residual charge from unprocessed emotions. When you feel an emotion fully, especially in the body, you give your nervous system permission to complete the cycle it's been trying to finish for days, weeks, sometimes years. You might shake. You might cry. You might feel waves of heat or cold. That's not breakdown. That's discharge. That's completion. And when it's done, your nervous system recalibrates to a new baseline. A lower one. A calmer one. And here's the quantum piece. When your nervous system shifts to a calmer baseline, your electromagnetic field changes instantly. The field around you becomes more coherent. And coherence is the state in which the quantum field responds most powerfully. This is why people report sudden shifts after emotional release. New opportunities appear. Old conflicts resolve. Stuck situations suddenly move. It's not magic, it's physics. Your signal changed, so the field responded differently. Timeline collapse. From a quantum perspective, every possible version of your life exists simultaneously. The version where you're abundant, the version where you're struggling, the version where you're loved, the version where you're alone. These aren't metaphors, they're probability fields. And the version that becomes your lived reality is determined by the frequency you're consistently broadcasting. When you're holding suppressed emotions, you're anchored to a timeline that matches the frequency of those emotions. You can visualize abundance, but if there's suppressed scarcity fear, you stay on the scarcity timeline. You can affirm love, but if there's suppressed unworthiness, you stay on the unworthiness timeline. But the moment you fully feel and complete an emotion, you collapse the probability wave tied to that frequency. You're no longer broadcasting it, which means you're no longer anchored to that timeline. And in that open space, the new timeline, the one you've been trying to reach, can lock in. This is why the shift feels instant. It's not that reality changed gradually, it's that you jumped timelines. And timeline jumps, by their nature, are discontinuous. One moment you're in one version of reality, the next moment you're in another. The only thing that changed was your frequency. And frequency changes the moment emotional completion happens. Step 1. Name it without story. The first step is simple, but requires precision. When an emotion arises, name it. But here's the key. Name the feeling, not the story. Wrong. I'm angry because they disrespected me. Right. I'm feeling anger. The moment you attach a story, you're no longer feeling the emotion. You're thinking about it. And thinking about emotion keeps it in your head, which prevents it from completing in your body. So just name it. Fear, sadness, anger, shame, anxiety. One word. That's all. Step 2. Locate it in your body. Next, find where the emotion lives in your body. Close your eyes if it helps. Scan from your head to your toes. Where do you feel it? Is it tightness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? Tension in your shoulders? Heat in your face? This step is crucial because emotions are not mental. They're somatic. They're sensations. And the only way to complete them is to feel them as sensations, not think about them as concepts. Step 3. Breathe into it. Once you've located the sensation, breathe directly into that area. Imagine your breath flowing to that exact spot, not to fix it, not to make it go away, just to be with it, to give it space, to let it know it's allowed to be here. Most people hold their breath when they feel difficult emotions. That's a subtle form of resistance. When you breathe, You're signaling to your nervous system that it's safe to feel. And safety is what allows the emotion to discharge. Step 4. Let it move. Now, the most important part. Let the emotion move however it wants to. If tears come, cry. If your body wants to shake, let it shake. If you need to make sound, make sound. If you need to move, move. This is not acting out the emotion. You're not yelling at someone or breaking things. You're allowing the physical discharge to happen in a contained way. Alone in your room, in your car, wherever you have privacy. The emotion might peak. It might feel overwhelming for a moment. That's okay. That's the discharge. Stay with it. Breathe. And then, if you let it complete, it will dissolve. Sometimes in seconds, sometimes in a few minutes, but it will dissolve. Step 5. Notice the shift. After the emotion has moved through, pause. Notice what's different. You'll likely feel lighter, calmer, more present. Your thoughts will be clearer. Your body will feel more relaxed. That's coherence. That's completion. And that's the moment your reality starts reorganizing. Here's what I want you to take away. Your emotions are not your enemy. They're not obstacles. They're not signs that something is wrong with you. They're energy moving through your system, carrying information, asking to be felt and released. The moment you stop fighting them and start feeling them fully, you unlock a level of manifestation most people never access. Because you're no longer broadcasting resistance. You're no longer creating incoherence. You're clear. You're coherent. You're available. And in that availability, the quantum field responds instantly. Not because you forced yourself to feel good, but because you had the courage to feel real. And reality responds to realness faster than it responds to anything else. So, the next time an emotion rises, don't push it away. Don't distract yourself. Don't try to think your way out of it. Feel it fully. Let it move. Let it complete. And watch how fast your reality shifts to match the new frequency you're broadcasting. If this resonated, drop a comment and say, I feel it. Let that be your declaration that you're done resisting and ready to feel. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay present, stay coherent, and trust the process of feeling.